All right, sorry for that sound issue in the sound hiccup. Karibu, please, you can hear me. Please confirm that you can hear me. Kama unanisikiza tafadhali niambia kwamba unanisikiza. If you can hear me, confirm that you can hear me. If you can hear me, please say yes. Kama unanisikia, maybe good morning. If you can hear me, tell me good morning and let me know where you're watching us from. As usual, please like when you like. We get to know that you're watching us. And as you like, please share. When you share, you give someone else an opportunity to watch the broadcast. This is the Sharia Wiki edition of the 19th of August 2022, and it begins right now. Lakini kama kawaida, lazima tuende mbele za Mungu tuombe, alafu tukirudi basi najua ni namna gani. Haya, unanisikia? Naona Wiko DK Junior bwana anasema hakuna sauti. Haya, acha tusikie kama Mungu atasikia sauti tukiomba, alafu tukirudi basi tunakuja kuona mambo inakaa vipi. Mighty Father, I come before you this morning. You worship you, God, for your name. Thank you for another opportunity to be alive. We thank you for this conversation. Even as you start off, may it edify the fabric of this country. For you pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Aya. Naona Raymond Kesa anasema loud and clear. Good morning to you. Good morning. It's indeed a very, very good morning to you. This is the Tackle the Sharia Wiki edition of the 19th of August 2022 and begins right now. Acha nione kina nani wameweza kuamka mapema hii. Anasema turn up the volume, I'm getting old. Ni Lori Houston. Haya. Acha niongeze sauti. Okay. Anasema amezeeka. Haya, basi nimekuongezea kidogo. Haya. Kama niambie kama masikio yako mzee imeweza kufika. Good to see you, Jeptab Maritim. Jeptabara Maritim, hope you're doing well. Mombasa vipi? Niambie story ya Mombasa kunakaa vipi? Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you join us this morning. Isaac Chumba anasema sound clear in Eldama Ravina. Asante sana wangwana ambaweza kuamka mapema hii. Johnston Kwej, good morning. John Dicky Wanaina, good to see you. John Dicky Wanaina, it's been a long time. I haven't seen you in a very long time. Lakini kama umejoin hapa na nimeita jina yako na hujashare, ujue wewe hapana mtu mzuri. Ama umeweza kujoin, I've called you out, I've told you good morning, lakini hujaweza kushare, please. Hapo kidogo ni kama tutaweza kukosana. Munga Lita continue, good to see you my brother all the way from the United Kingdom. Johnston Kwej tuned in from Chemitan, Litein. Asante watu wa Litein, mambo vipi? Mwafa wa Fula, good morning to you. Isaac Blagat Cheriot, good morning from Marion, Indiana, United States of America. Good to see you diasporans. It's always a pleasure to have you every single morning. Najua nyinyi wangwana ambao mnaamka mapema, mnarauka mapema asubuhi sana ili kuweza kujoin Tackle. It's a pleasure to have you this morning. Thank you so much. Laurie Aston anasema hey from Sydney, Oza. Thank you so much Laurie Aston. It's a pleasure to see you diasporans watu wa Australia pia. Mambo vipi? Good morning. Emmanuel Sadem, good morning bro. Good morning to you my brother. Mwalimu Mwanyumba, good morning. The journey has been tough but we thank God. Thank you so much Mwambugu Waweru Aiza, good morning to you. Addison Mutai, you Addison anasemaje? Addison mwenzako sijui anasemaje hajaweza kufika kwenye studio. Yeye kuna story gani? Anasema yeye na Mungu kuna mahali walipitana. Kilache Junior Letich hakuna sauti. Sasa sauti ndio imerudi. Mwangi Kikui, good to see you my brother. Good morning. Wambugu Waweru Isaac Dubai tuko standby. Asante sana Isaac Blaga Cheriot, sound imerudi. Jeptab Arab Maritim, good to see you. Jemo Ruta, good morning to you. Collins K Meli, good to see you. Joel Jua Arabia tunakusikia, asante. Andabawito DK Jina, good to see you. Mwangi Kikui, good to see you my brother. Kipkembai Benson Bano, good morning. Kiblaga Rotich, good morning. Joel Abesa, good morning to you. Wambugu Waweru Isaac, loud and clear. Asante Raymond K Sang, loud and clear. Collins K Mali, we get you. Asante Afrik Tai, loud and clear. Thank you. Rosa Nyawira, good to see you. And some had an issue with sound, but now you can hear you. Asante sana Rosa Nyawira. It's a pleasure to have you this morning on the show. Laurie Aston, turn the volume up. I'm getting old. Ndio hiyo nimepandisha. Niambie kama imeweza kutosha. Isaac Chumba, sound and clear in Eldama Ravine. Good to see you to Eldama. Lucky Loben and clear. Thank you, Elias Kiptum. Very clear from Eldoret, Mike Kenya. Good morning, kijana. Yeah. Mzee bwana. John Ruta iko sawa. As getting you clear from Kitengela, watu Kitengela mambo vipi? Isaac good morning to you my brother David Maru. Good morning GB. Loud and clear in Canada. Good to see you diasporans all the way from Canada. Hey Davey, wazo umepotea kwanza, niko na kesi na wewe. Inafaa tutumie wave ndio tuweze kusamea. Africa Tai, loud and clear. Sa Kabui Katagwa, good morning team Kuba. Good morning to you Cyrus Murai. Gerald clear in from Australia. Asante watu Australia. Kimotich Kelvin, loud and clear. Victor Nyakunde tuko rada. United States of America tuko locked. Asante sana Gideon Kimog, loud and clear. Following from Nakuru. Maris Peter, sounds clear. Westlands Shago all the way from Seoul, South Korea. Anasema good morning. It's great joining you, listening you loud and clear from Seoul, South Korea. Asante sana DK Chebwe. Good morning GB. Good morning to you my brother. Hata ibada tunakungoja. Sami Kingsley, good morning. Eliud Rono, good morning to you. Isaac Cheriot, Adujalala, Gerald Bitoka. Asante sana. You guys, you stay awake for the Tackle every single morning. It's a pleasure to have you. Zad alive from Dog. Good morning to you. Leonard Chamge Bitok Chamge Isa. This is Dante Kelvin. Good morning. Wajia County, Somalia borderline. Asante sana to Wajia. Mike Mkenya, Mike from USA, United States of Lego. Allah. Lakila Benatron just set for discussion. Hassan, good morning from Jamira County. Kiprop Caleb, good morning. Vincent Kebuaro Maege from Kisii, loud and clear. And Mutegi, good morning. Bito, good morning to you, my brother. Dave Leki, coaches, good morning. Clear and loud. Jane from Makini High School, Salima to Makini. Jane Mombi, all the way from West Team. Mambo vipi habari ya Westlands, matutupa sana. Tulete chai tukunywa. And Mutegi Tharaka niti tuko ndani, asante. Jofiel Mabwai, getting you 11 clear from Thika. Roy Williams 6 atasema, say I to Duncan. It does spectacular jobs. Well done, he's really flying eye at the tackle family. We are proud of him. Asante sana. That's the product of the tackle and he's doing well right out there. Sisi tuna train watu wanatoka pale, they do exploits. Good morning, Collins K. Melly, Nandi Count, loud and clear from the USA. You're Matopeni, Pran. Good to see you. Watu wa diaspora, Nandi tuned in all the way. That is Collins K. Melly. Bowen Chirchir. Bowen from Eldama Ravine. IB Talk. Where is Dr. Ojwang? Oh, Dr. Ojwang, you konjiane. Edna Chepchumba, good morning, falling from Utawala. Noni Belemso, our good sister, who is also co-host here. Anasema sasa leo sheria inanoga. Duncan ako wapi? Is a gem, asante. Alafu Arizon Mumia, namgoja sana, as you know, mimi na yeye na senior counsel Martha Wangari Karua, sisi ni team moja. Kwa wale watu ambao wanasema Mungu hayupo. Haya, Nick Mutunga, Nick hapa loud and clear. Kipkos Gelimo, is Dr. Ojwang coming? Yes, he's coming in. Kagifeid, good morning to you. Elias Komurgor, good morning, Mr. Good Guy GB. Good to see you, Elias. Comrade Mwanzi, Village Arena. And some wapi Duncan Bwana. Danko, anaingia shortly. It's a pleasure to have you this morning. Let's look at the traffic situation on the roads. Let's look at how Nairobi is this morning. Urwaiwe looks a bit crazy, heading towards the National Museums, all the way from the El Salazar roundabout. Looks a bit crazy this morning. Langata Road, tangu tutengeneza overpass ya Mbagathi Way, it's all clear. Watu wa Mombasa Road wanakula raha kabisa ni nywe. Looking in at Nyayo Stadium roundabout, the normal just little traffic towards the roundabout. Nothing really to worry about. Looking at Ngong Road as well. Ngong Road looks all clear with a little traffic heading in from the Mbagathi Way towards the Kenyatta roundabout. Some little traffic there. There seems to be some little traffic as well from the Ngong Hills Hotel heading towards the Coptic Hospital. I think traffic those two bumps you call. Lakini looking at Ngong Road in itself looks a bit clear as well. Nothing to really worry about on Ngong Road this morning. Even at the junction looks all clean. Kingara Road as well looks all clean this morning. Looking at Kitanga Road as well looks all clean. Nothing to worry about. Getting into Lavington at the Lavington Green Mall, heading towards the Muthangari. Driver James Kishuru drive as well, heading towards Waiyaki Way. Looks all clean, nothing to really worry about as well. Only some little traffic towards the Mzima Springs Junction, but nothing to really worry about as well. Getting in from Kileleshwa towards Yaya Center, some little traffic at the Ole Tok roundabout. Is Pale Total roundabout na Itanga bypass. Now jam kidogo. Looking in as well at Dennis Street roundabout, some little traffic, nothing to worry about. Hiyo ni ya mataa ya kawaida pale. Looking at Thika Road, let's see how Thika Road is looking like this morning. Thika Road kama kawaida, there seems to be some traffic coming in all the way from KCA University heading towards the Muthaiga overpass. Some little traffic as well. Kiambu Road looks all clean. Nothing to really worry about on Kiambu Road. Hakuna traffic hata kidogo. Limuru Road looking all clean as well. Looks like leo Friday, mambo sio mengi. A lot of Kenyans, I think, they are on the move, but nothing to worry about on the roads. Jogoo Road as well, some little traffic pale Makadara, jam kidogo tu, lakini the roads are looking all clean this morning. Let me know where you are and how traffic is looking like wherever you are this morning. Let me know how traffic is looking like. Donholm, exiting Donholm towards Lungalunga in the Soul area looks a bit crazy, and also Donholm as well at the overpasses looks a little bit crazy, but nothing to really worry about. I don't know, mahali ulipo mambo iko traffic iko namna gani? Let me know how traffic is looking like. Watu wa YouTube naona wameanza kuamka pia. Beatrice, good to see you. Good morning. Kelvin Kenyatta, morning. Yes, we can. Jeremy Mwaura, good morning. Kiptoki Blagat, morning. Gerald Sauti Safi, asante. Five sound check, asante. Christopher Sang, leo nimefika GB, niko plantation hustling, logged in Kansas City. Christopher, you owe us a lot of dollars. I need to see some sendwave. You've been disappearing for almost a whole year. Brandon Ken, somebody Dr. Ojwang brought me here. Can't wait. Thank you. Waiting for Ojwang to check in, but we already have ZEAL Chebunet. Addison pia hajaweza kuingia, sijui yako wapi barabarani hapa hajaje, lakini tuko na ZEAL Chebunet. Good morning to you, ZEAL.
Morning to you.
Pleasure to have you again.
Thank you very much.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, long time.
Karibu namaliza mwaka mbili.
2 years, yeah. I can see. But I'm here finally.
Finally you're here. How have you been? Mambo namna gani?
Things are good. You can see I'm happy.
Clearly. Naona hata umekuwa mweupe.
Yeah, imagine after Ruto won.
Umeongeza koti.
You can see umeongeza koti. Hii ni ya kufaa kwenda State House. You must have done also some shopping.
Pongeze, thanks. Congratulations on the job that you did during the campaign.
Thank you very much.
Put in a good fight.
So good. Working for William Ruto. It was so good.
How was it like?
You know, we had a superior strategy, and people bought our idea, and we won the elections. Yeah.
So how does it feel like? Has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, we feel good. It's an added responsibility to perform and to deliver the promises and the plan that we had promised the people of Kenya. So it's heavy. It's not easy. It's not easy to win. Yeah, but we thank God. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You thank God that you won. All right. And also people were crying. Umesikia kuna machozi mahali zinaliliwa.
I know. You know, I ever lost an election. You know, you remember 2017? I think we were together. I think you were my chief campaigner, or I don't know. But we moved on, and right now, in fact, in Moibende, there's a new MP. So life. Sometimes you win, sometimes you know what the Manchester United people are going through.
Yes.
Isn't it? Yeah. In fact,
I think
and they are meeting Liverpool again on Monday. So I think that is like the Supreme Court. That is like the Supreme Court, yeah. So life, there are ups and downs, but we will overcome.
You gotta keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's look at the newspaper. I don't know if you have the newspapers already. Tuangalie gazeti haraka upesi. We see what the newspapers are looking like. Do you have newspapers? Tayari ama bado tusonge mambo mengine kwanza. Kidogo. Gazeti iko tayari? Anmwe anasema ami Seattle GB. Asante sana. Anmwe wewe ni mwingine ambaye uko na kesi. Nataka kuona M-Pesa sasa hizi ikilia kwa sababu wewe uko na kesi umepotea zaidi ya mwaka unusu. Kimeli Barno, good morning. Today looking shiny and sunny. Sami Base mheshimiwa all the from Australia, say I to Z listening from Perth, Australia. Wadia Kiyeko, good morning. Peter falling from SK Gardens Upper Hill Nairobi. Haya, asante sana. Ngono wa SK Gardens. If you have the papers ready, let's look at them. Haya, gazeti ni kama bado haijaanza kufika. So okay, Chebunet.
Yes.
Niangalia kwa upande yangu so kama unaweza pata gazeti haraka hapa upesi. But these are the newspapers were looking like this morning. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Let's see what the papers are looking like this morning. Kama gazeti pia zinatupiga chenga leo. All right, shuttle diplomacy, that is the standard. Nasema shuttle diplomacy, seeking common ground following the contested presidential elections. A U.S. delegation led by Delaware Senator Chris Andrew Coons in the company of new USA Ambassador Mike Whiteman meets with President Kenyatta, President-elect William Ruto, and as a MUMIA leader Raila Odinga in efforts to ensure a smooth transition on the back of similar engagements by the clergy. Travel chaos as schools reopen, a divided IEBC, dark past Hound's body, found mystery in murder of IBC official. These are one very interesting conversation as well. Raila versus Ruto, the case files what Raila Odinga and Azimio team is taking to court. In a Supreme Battle, the Azimio coalition is working on a broad three-pronged strategy to contest the declaration by Wafula Chebukati of William Ruto as president-elect. And in the grand scheme of things, the arguments will come down to what the Raila team believes are inconsistencies in IBC's vote figures, declared turnout numbers, and undeclared skeletons in the failing out in the commission. Right? One is turnout. Chebukati initially reported at a 65.4% turnout, which translates to 14.4 million voters, but this final tally was 140,128 votes less at 40,326,000 minus those who voted manually. Okay, voting pattern Azimio will seek to know how hundreds of thousands of people voted for president only without a corresponding number of spoiled votes for lower seats. Okay, split commission. Could the Cherera faction of the divided electoral commission have more secrets in the bag, and they will be willing to reveal them? Okay, so Alanyeti, who would promise to lead a very smooth power handover. That is a Daily Nation for you. Business Daily, new president inherits half a trillion shillings of unpaid bills. My friend, 5 or 5 billion. Kenya shillings coming in. Okay. Taifa Leo inasemaje? Taifa Leo inasema Gachagua Uhuru hajaongea na Ruto. Uchaguzi Rais Kenyatta hajawahi kuzungumza na Rais mteule Ruto tangu alipotangazwa mshindi. Naibu Rais mteule Rigathi Gachagua afichua jana. Haya. IBC sawa pia IBC yashtakiwa kwa kuahirisha uchaguzi 4 modali za Mombasa. Kuna Mombasa, kuna Kakamega na pia kuna chaguzi zingine za bunge. Tume huru ya uchaguzi na mipaka IBC imejipata taabani baada ya kushtakiwa kwa kuahirisha uchaguzi mbalimbali zilizofaa kufanyika Agosti. Haya, Chelsea ya mhemea Aubameyang. Chelsea imeweka mezani shilingi 2.6 billion kunasa mvamizi Aubameyang kutoka FC Barcelona. Haya, watu wa kabumbu ndio kazi yenu. Mimi hiyo kitu ilinishinda. Twaha apinga matokeo ya Timami akipanga afisi. Haya, mambo ndio hiyo. Azimia mbioni kupinga ushindi wa William Ruto. Madiwani 37 watemwa uchaguzi Kisii. People Daily, Uhuru, we love a smooth handover. Lewis Abdul called fun time here in Kenya. Okay. The Star Ruto team, Uhuru man reluctant to cede power. Rigathi Gachagua claims Matiang'i tried to block gazettemen of their election. U.S. Congress delegation meets Kenyatta, President-elect Dr. Raila. President-elect and Raila. Okay. Gachagua Kaiga needn't testify at Kaguru inquest, says Aiko Dinieri. Okay. Finally, they have said Gachagua and Kaiga are not required to testify in a case that is getting an inquest into the death of the former governor Kaguru. Raila 7-pronged attack on Ruto election, a victory at Supreme Court. Widower wants custody of children taken by strangers after their spouse's suicide. Okay, that is it on the daily newspapers. But even before we go there, what is the state of the nation, Chebunet?
Yeah, I think people have moved on. Except a few who are preparing to go to the Supreme Court. Schools have opened. Yeah, and basically people have forgotten about this election. You can even see William Ruto started talking like the president. So people have moved on. But it is a right for people to go to court. Any Kenyan, it's not necessarily Raila Odinga. We should go to court. Any Kenyan can go to court so long as you have evidence. You can proceed to the Supreme Court. And Tuesday is the last day. I think those are the 7 days that they are given by law. So they're allowed to go to court. Yeah. But they must provide evidence. Yes.
Do you think they have a case? They are saying they have a 7-pronged approach.
What I saw is generalities. I think if you need to win the case, they need to prove that the Form 34A was interfered with. They need to prove that the numbers were interfered with. I think that's how they're going to win the race. But the case. But if they talk of, I don't know, 0.01, they talk of, I don't know, the commissioners could not agree over the results, I think they are going to lose.
Okay. Yeah. I think they're going to lose. Okay, you've seen what they have raised actually as the issues that they have with this election. I don't know if you've, let me just read them out for you once again. That's according to Daily Nation. One of them is turnout. Chebukati initially reported a 65.4% turnout, which translates to 14,466,779 voters. But his final tally was 140,028 votes less at 14.326,751 minus those who voted manually. How do you make of that?
That's one of the
discrepancy.
Yeah,
the variation there.
You know, I think Chebukati did not even have time to read. I was in Bomas and it was so chaotic. And Chebukati had a speech on even the rejected votes and all that. But he just came and declared the results and the winner. So Chebukati could not be even given room, even to breathe. I think you saw the chaos that was there, Gerald. Based on the turnout, I don't think there's a problem with the figures of Chebukati. What needs to be demonstrated in court was a candidate denied the votes. Okay. That will be very important. because turnout was varying in the whole country. Somebody was even complaining the other day that why did people in Central turn up at around 4 at once? I think they are going to take that to court, that there was a high voter turnout at around 4 to 5. So I think, yeah, so I think people were working, people were looking for food, so they went in the evening. So if you see some of the reasons, turnout cannot be a reason, because you remember there are around 22 million people who registered to vote, but we 8 million did not turn up to vote. Yeah.
All right. So you think the difference that they're talking about, or the discrepancy in statistics, is not a case to pick on?
It is not a case at all. What the courts will look for were the forms interfered? Did anybody go to the IBC portal and interfere with the numbers? In fact, the courts will not be interested in announcing who is the winner. They are not interested. They are interested in giving everyone and showing that no numbers were taken away from anyone. Okay. So they will not even say who has won. That's not the work of the court. Okay. The people who determine who wins are the voters. Yeah.
All right. The second issue that they're taking to court is, as a mere voting patterns, as a mere will seek to know how hundreds of thousands of people voted for president only without a corresponding number of spoiled votes for lower seats. That there is a difference between the votes at the votes at the presidential level and the governors and women rep who are actually occupying all with the same position of vote. The discrepancy between the votes at the presidential level and the governor level and senator and maybe women rep, there was some level of discrepancy in numbers. Asking, how is it that thousands of people voted for only the president without voting for the other lower seats?
In fact, Gerald, this happened in their strongholds. I'm really shocked that that is one of the grievances. Because if you check the strongholds of Azimio, that's really what happened. In fact, if you check one of the places in Kisumu, there was over 120% voter turnout, which is impossible. So that discrepancy was, it was orchestrated. Because, like right now, when you see that excuse, it will not hold water. Because I think when they were tabulating the data and when they are filling the forms, I think that the presiding officers needed to have been more careful to calculate. But I think at that time, there is no room to calculate, because at the presidential results, it's the first box that is normally opened and counting begins and you send the results. So I don't think there is any discrepancy. I think those are just wishes of a few people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to tell me that the people who woke up in the morning to go and only vote for the president, not any other seats?
I even saw in Bomas where the presiding officers were adding the total valid votes with the rejected votes. So I think it's just some small errors, and they were corrected based on the Form 34A. So you would see those discrepancies. But at the end of the day, what is very important, each candidate was given his votes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So are you telling us that there's a story that they didn't finish?
Yeah, but if each candidate got the votes. It is a very simple case, Gerald.
I don't think that's simple.
Because if you are going to court because of voter turnout, really, wasting Supreme Court time, voter turnout, who is to blame for voter turnout? So that's a very weak case. Go to court and say, Raila Odinga was denied votes in Kasarani. They were given to Maure or Wajakoya. They were given to William Ruto. Go and prove that the numbers were denied to your candidates.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what you guys think. I want to ask you, the audience, the tacklers who are joining us this morning, what do you think? Is it possible that thousands of Kenyans went to a polling station only to vote for the president and not for the other positions? Do you think the reasons that Azimio is raising against the declaration, against IEBC actually, because Azimio is taking IEBC to court. This time it's IEBC that Azimio is taking to court. Do you think they have a valid reason? And in their case of saying that there is a difference between the presidential votes and the other seats, are they justified? Are they justified? Okay. All right. Someone here is saying, Titus Kips anasema Gladys Wanga had more votes than Raila. Where?
Which is very true, by the way.
Gladys Wanga is the one who took the Homa Bay seat, the governor seat. I don't know if you have the numbers. Titus Kips, I hope you're not spreading propaganda here. Kama uko na vote, kama uko na results ya Homa Bay County, please to me up. I need to see. Gladys Wanga had more votes than Raila in Homa Bay. Jamani. Okay. All right. The third reason that Azimio is going to court is split commission. Could the Cherera faction of the divided electoral commission have more secrets in the bag, and would they be willing to reveal them?
In fact, Gerald, I think when students of law will be studying in Kenya School of Law, they'll be referring to this Cherera group, because actually the most confused group of people, the commissioners, are the four. And Gerald, it's good for the listener to know that these are the four that were appointed during the handshake. Okay. But the other three had been in the commission for a very long time. And so you really wonder if they really understand what they're doing. Because you saw them saying that they needed to have voted for the votes. That means, Gerald, you needed to have 14 million plus seven commissioners. Okay. For this. 14 million plus 7. So what I'm wondering is, what if they had voted no, the majority had their way? It means...
But does it also mean that the commissioners don't vote at the ballot?
No, if their polling station is Bomas, they can vote. But now saying that when you vote and then you go and subject to another vote, that means they don't understand what they're doing. What they normally vote for, the commissioners, are things like tenders, HR, when they're doing employment, and so forth. But not voting for the votes. Okay. It's not possible. There is only one national returning officer, and that is Chebukati. Okay. Gerald, it's like in a polling station where you tell the policemen who are in the polling station and the clerks, now here are the votes. Please let us vote for the votes. So I think these are the most confused commissioners, and I think they will have a rough time. Look at what they did in Serena. They were even locked in that Serena for the whole day. Okay. So these are very confused people. You saw even the speech that Raila was giving. It was exactly the same speech like the one Cherera was giving. So these people are very disorganized, and I believe they'll be in fact, they're going to be removed. Okay. According to Article 251, I think there's a process to remove them. And I think somebody has gone to court already to remove them. Yeah.
And 12 Kenyans maybe put this into perspective as well. What are the roles then? What are the roles of these commissioners? Kazi ya commissioners ni gani?
Their work is to assist in the day-to-day running of the commission. Okay. So, but their work is not to vote for the votes. Yeah, they're supposed to know their work. But coming up and running around and going to stay in Serena and waiting for the script from Azimio, I think that is very wrong. Okay. Those commissioners, I think they need to be removed as soon as possible. We have a new commissioner. And I'm worried, Gerald, if Chebukati is leaving and the other three commissioners, what will happen? It will be chaos in Kenya's elections.
Okay, I'd like to get your comments on what you think about the Azimio case that have taken to court and the roles of the commissioners in speaking into the elections. They just concluded elections on what really went wrong according to them. Do you think they have a voice over your vote? And do you think they have an auditing responsibility as well over your vote? Should they be speaking for you about, are they justified to raise the issues that they are raising and the issues that Azimio are raising as well? Do you think they have a case at the court of law in a situation where we get back to the vote or we get back to the ballot? What do you think will happen, Chebunent?
I think in 2017, Raila Odinga was allowed to get away with it. They were allowed to overturn an election based on technicalities. Okay. But this time around, I think we urge the judges not to allow him. Because going for a repeat, Raila has no chance. Okay. He will not have any chance. In fact, I think Raila is even going to say and tell his base, please don't vote, like the way he did in 2017, because it's going to be a whitewash. And I don't know if the judges will allow. If you see the reasons that they have given, these are fake reasons. Yeah, I don't think they will allow. Look at, there's a precedence in the Supreme Court. And if you check, Gerald, almost three cases that have gone to the Supreme Court in the history of Kenya have succeeded. 3 out of 400. Okay. So this one has no chance. The courts cannot entertain frivolous arguments on, I don't know, voter turnout. You want to go to the Supreme Court because there was a low voter turnout. Really? I think that's a waste of resources, and they have no chance. In fact, the people who will be very happy here are the lawyers, because they are going to get a lot of money. Okay. Yeah, because they have no case.
All right. Ojwang, please get close to your microphone. Fix your microphone ahead of you. Ojwang, go to the microphone. I don't know. All right. Okay. In our case, let's look at the comments as well as we are setting up Ojwang. Please weka microphone ya Ojwang straight. Aweze kupata vizuri. Steve-O, acha kutesa wageni. Isimame straight. Okay. Beatrice Chelagado said Kenya Kwanza should be very vigilant. They shouldn't just sweep over the Azimio concerns. That's concerned. The ABC just did what the court ordered them to do in 2017. Isaac Kimngetich, Gerald Bitok, imagine amongst the 4 commissioners, Chedera was the best. Imagine about the rest. Woi, Chebukati, Aliona Moto are trying to educate them. Okay. Roy Williams says, what I know, if election will be nullified, what I'm sure, Raila Odinga will be defeated with a big margin. He won't even make to 3 million, while his competitor will be enjoying above 10 million. Okay. Ray Williams said, even Babu Wina yesterday in a press, he said he got more votes than the president. Okay. And among Augustine in Kenya, Justice EU alleges must prove beyond reasonable doubt that these are allegations hold waters. The mathematics theory won't work for Azimio as long as Form 34As are still in that portal. They have no case. Now, where Gerald, tuangia mimi simu. I'll bid for you, call. Wanga Augustine, you've been missing bana for all 1.5 years. Alafu ile wewe ndio unafaa utuange simu. Kwanza uko na fine ambayo lazima ulipia. Isaac Mgari, good morning, falling from Zimmerman. Say I to relative Zeal. Edwin Kiplagat, clear from home. Kimogo, say I to my friend Dr. Philip Zeal. I actually voted for this gentleman. I think I voted for him trying. Yeah. I'm sorry, siku kwa suti. However, this boy was running for him and depend to get. Daktari! Yes, sir. Habari yake?
Salama barini.
Uko na mchezo mingi siku hizi. Zaini za ngapi?
What is it? 8-ish?
8-ish. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well.
Morning. I'm K. Bitok.
I know you're a busy man these days.
No, I'm not. I wish I was. Nice to see Boynet. Chebunet. Pole. And nice to be in the taco again. It has been a while.
It's been a while.
Almost a month.
You're not even feeling guilty.
I'm very guilty, but
you don't look guilty.
A sinner who repents.
Can I see it on your face?
Mandela said he's a sinner who repents. So having repented and having been forgiven, or having forgiven myself, I'm okay, yeah. Sorry for my tardiness.
Haven't forgiven yourself. Now you're the sinner, but now you forgive yourself. Is that not a space? That's a very good space of privilege. Anyway, getting it straight into the issues, we are actually having a conversation around the issues that Azimio is taking to court. And this time, it seems like Azimio has a case with IBC. This time, they're taking IBC to court. Now they are going for Chebukati mwenyewe. And some of the issues that I've raised are just according to the Daily Nation this morning. One of them is that voter turnout. Chebukati initially reported at 65.4% turnout, which translates to 14,466,779 voters. But the final tally was at 140,028 votes less at 14.326751 minus those who voted manually. That's the first case. The second case is voting patterns, as the mayor will seek to know how hundreds of thousands of people voted for presidency only without a corresponding number of spoiled ballots follower seats. Second case. Third, they are relying on the dispute that is happening at IEBC, the four commissioners led by Cherera. I think you remember? And they're asking, could Cherera's faction of the divided electoral commission have more secrets in the bag, and would they be willing to reveal them? Those seems to be the three cases, but I've said they have a 7-pronged
approach.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. What do you make of this debacle and the cases they're raising?
No, of course, we have completed one phase, and probably the most important phase. That is the phase of Kenyans voting. Their vote being tallied, verified, and announced, and the winner being announced. So that is a step behind us in benchmark to the constitutional undertaking of verifiability, accountable, simple, implementing 2017. In 2017, remember the IBC could not account for all Form 34As. They brought copies, they brought duplicates, and very few originals. And if they came, they were mistakes. Remember, in 2017, there were what we were calling provisional results, which were being aired on our TV. Those were like text messages from the ground. And remember, IBC stood and disowned it, saying that that is not what we relied on. And of course, in 2013, the coalition that went to Supreme Court took Jubilee, so they sued the other party. In 2017, they became smarter, they sued IBC and made it less about the other party. So you are right that this time again, it's more going to be about the IBC who have constitutional mandate. So last time the forms were not there. The server, remember the proverbial server? Yes. Was not opened. In fact, court had ordered, right? That you go open within this amount of time. Remember the ping pong, these guys are asleep, this guy is did not work. Yes. And so then the court said, looking at the whole election, we don't see Form 34As, very few originals, server is not open. Now you are telling us what was coming was provisional results. They were not even real ones. And if they were wrong, they were just statistics. Why will you have wrong statistics only to correct them? Remember, you were telling us, this coalition kept asking you, please do not declare the results until you have in your hand all the Form 34A. We come to your website, you have less than half, but you have declared the winner. They said, surely, could a reasonable person, in other words, only an idiot will say this election has been conducted fairly. So that came to be called the qualitative test, that it's not about the numbers, but about how the election has been conducted. And it appears that that is where Azimio is basing one of their limb of their case in the qualitative. Now, come this time, that boring thing that was going on in Bomas. And remember how we were rolling our eyes for 4 days. That was torture.
At least you are listening to music.
Form come one by one. The light is shined to find out the 9 security features. Each one.
UV light.
Yes, UV light. before the party even start checking, does the tally add up? And so, by the second day, I knew this will be a long week. If each form from each polling station, first the security features, then the numbers. Meanwhile, you have been given the same form in the portal. So you take it, you check, and then you sign, and then they are announced. Slow, painful process for 5 days. So now the Form 34s are there. And you see, Chebukati kept saying the results are in the polling stations. There is no results in Bomas. They were done in the polling station. They were moved to the constituency, again announced, a painful process. Then now here, they are simply being verified. Remember his invitation to media. And you as a serious media station, you probably stand indicted. Where are your numbers?
We have our numbers. Tuko na server yetu.
You play too much.
So I think Gerald, as Ojwang has said,
He's not done.
No, he's not done. Okay.
No. So then maybe in conclusion, what we are seeing, Chebunet, this election is opposite what we saw in 2017, where everyone, even people who are, so then came the idea of the 4 commissioners. Of course, remember, that is where even the person who prayed, Sapit, you have seen the social media. Yes. He only prayed. Oh boy, he's under a lot of hate. Why did you pray? You should have left this evil process to go on. So of course we are discussing this thing in a very emotional environment. So you saw this is the first time that somebody went up to the podium. The security looked the other way, I think. Somebody threw Chebukati's chair after 5 days. It was like a tale of two cities. We are seeing diplomats seated, but we are seeing choir singing very well. And then we are seeing this other chaotic side led by Oledama. Now, then we are seeing the other 4, and we can't ignore them. Opaque. It has actually become a word. I talked to one of my contemporaries, like everything you have said is opaque, and I'm not going to trust you. But so we had the word opaque. Then the next day, of course, there were more gut feeling that what was opaque is we conducted a very good election, but at some point, it did not show me the results, which he was to announce. Now, what you'll expect is, I suspect the reason he did not show me is because he announced the wrong thing, because this is the right thing. So I cringe at a situation where you go to court and say, sikuonyeshwa. Okay, and because that's what somebody expects. Do you have a problem with maths? No, lakini mbona kunionyesha. You can go to court for any reason, including for no good reason at all. Those people have been doing press-ups for 5 years. It's taxpayers' money. So you can pay them a visit. So finally, of course, remember, the math that Kenya demystified within a second. So I'm imagining who are these commissioners, and these are the handshake commissioners. Remember, they're the commissioners who came during the handshake tenure. These handshake commissioners, the band of handshake commissioners, apparently, obviously, by now we know that maths is also not their forte, because the number 144,000. And remember, the first day she said, if that number will have been considered, we will have been having different results, meaning runoff. That's how I interpreted it. So when Chebukati come later and say, these people were telling me, just round this thing off, we'll go for runoff, and I refused, and I've not had them come back. I've not had them come back with a different fact. There is a school I taught in, and one of a very nice Tanzanian student told me, Mwalimu naomba A. I've found a lot of requests, but I've never found such a request. In the middle of the term, Mwalimu naomba A. Surely. So very polite though. Very polite, not rude. Mwalimu naomba to A. So this is what is happening here. The Chebukati naomba runoff. These results do not belong to Chebukati. These results belong to the voters. That's why people go to the polling station. So it cannot be a referendum at the four of us feel this way. Then why were we voting? And you see what is due to every commissioner. Chebukati is the returning officer. Even in the constituency, somebody do not say, but what does other IBC agents say or whatever. So here, us is announcing what is due to you, even as a commissioner, is a function of law. You cannot come and say, because the majority of us here have voted and have said that Chebukati, you give me your car. That is the commission speaking. No. We are bastardizing and the oppositization of this thing too much. It has to be what is due to you by law.
By law.
I am required. Was it a function of the commission? It is not. Who is the returning officer, Chebukati? Finally, remember the qualifications. The qualification of the chair. In fact, every time IBC recruit, it has two-tier recruitment. It's recruiting the chair and commissioners. Why? Because the chair must be able to be appointed as a judge of High Court. I don't know, 15 years experience, must be a lawyer and all that. Now, when it comes to the other commissioner, you can come with mathematicians like the other mathematician. Yes. And yes, she has reconfirmed my commitment to mathematics. I thought maths is hard. I can go back to maths if that is the math that the commissioner can do. So that, in overall, I think that is the general view. Thank you.
I would like you to help us before we get back to Chebunet, because we've been having a couple of minutes with him. I would like you to help us define the role of the commission. According to IBC, the legal role of the commission. You being a lawyer and understanding that IBC seems like to feed more on law than art and philosophy. What are the roles of the IBC commissioners?
So personalities are important. People getting along is very important, but it's not a legal requirement. All right? So the legal requirement is that you follow the law. And so the law is guided by the Constitution of Kenya. There is Electoral Act, and there is other laws, and then the IBC itself have its regulation. Now, one of the acts is that there is only one returning officer, and that is the chair of the commission. Then the commission, now, a lot of Kenyans conducted election, were declared even governors without commission, isn't it? Commissioner, any commissioner. So commission, when we talk of commission, we mean the commissioners, we mean the CEO and the whole aspect. Now, when it comes to the presidential returning officer, it is the chair. Now, the Constitution envision, the Act envision two situations. There is what it calls the Act, the business of the commission. Chebukati have two hats. Chebukati as a person is the returning officer of the presidential. Chebukati as a person is also the chair of the commission. Those are two parallel roles. When commission sits, Chebukati sits there as the chair. When he serves his role as returning officer, it is a delegated role directly to him. Now, was this a function of the commission where we take the commission votes? As many as high, well, the high have it and the no have it. No, it's not a function of the commission. Now, to add into the theater of absurdity, you know very well that the voice that we remember very well is the voice of the vice chair and Justice Nyang'aya announcing those results for the 4 days. Isn't it? They come to the floor, they announce, they work together. And so when it came to the last day, according to them, the center could not hold. Why the center could not hold? Because of opaqueness. Now, envision a situation where commission is told, after Kenyans have voted according to the right to choose their leaders, then it is the commission that sit to decide. Now, as commissioners, let us search our heart. Do we announce him? What do we do? Surely, then why were we voting in the first place? And therefore, it's not a situation of where the minority, where the majority. It is the role of the returning officer. And even so, up to now, you know very well that all we had is the maths that backfired. And what Chebukati said was there was a lot of intimidation. In fact, in his own words, I was requested to fuliza some votes so that we force a runoff. That is not the function of Chebukati. Throughout, you are there. I saw you as in the media booth. Yes. You know that in 4 days, at some point, the agent of Azimio came and simply said, this is a crime scene. Now, if I come and call your studio crime scene, I will only be fair to add what crime is going on. So he simply said this is a crime scene. And when he was asked which crime, no, in fact, this place should be cordoned. Inviting internal security and deep state, whatever it is, to take over. And when the people said what crime is going on, meanwhile, you know, as they are screaming and kicking, the agents, each party has an agent, which is doing the verification throughout a painful process. Not for 1 day, not for 2 days, not for 3 days, but 4, 5 days. So then it comes the time of announcement, which is supposed to be a time of the final, because it's a product starting from the thing of 34A in the polling station. You know, so that is the process. At some point, I had some creative classmate who found it unbearable that every time they are being spanked in maths or for not getting the right answers. These guys went and found class 8 answer book for maths. So they have the answer, but they don't have the formula. And so, you know how you put the answer and put 2 lines and say A and S. But when the teacher is seeing, maths is a science. If you get it wrong, you just go back and retally, and you say, this is where you have got it wrong. It does not have to be a divisive situation. But the idea of show me, it is not Chebukati's maths. It is the Kenyans' maths, and it was given. So right now, where are we? We are in a situation where most Kenyans are maybe not happy. And I don't take this idea of, oh, it was 48 Kenyans versus 51 or 50. I think that is polarization. These were not enemies. It is not that Ruto's people hated Raila's group, or Raila's group are enemies with Ruto people. Some of them, if you ask them, will tell you, if I had 2 votes, I will vote for Raila and vote for Ruto. So you cannot say that, how will Ruto govern because Nani has 48 people in his corner. No, this was an exercise to see who is given mandate, because at the end of the day, sovereignty belongs to the people. Thank you.
All right. The second issue that they're raising, I don't know if you've looked at this, and it's the issue of the discrepancy between the presidential vote and the other seats vote, right? The governor and the women rep and the senator, who share almost the same level of jurisdiction. What do you make of that? That discrepancy? That the presidents had more votes than...
I've seen. Remember, this thing is still in kitchen, isn't it? We have not seen a petition. It is like going there and seeing I've assembled what I want to cook for lunch. Then you come, you test the flour, you go, you bite the onion and bite the tomato and sprinkle some salt on your mouth, and you say this is going to be a good lunch. You know, I have to first cook the lunch, mix the ingredient, and then I tell you, Bitok, come and eat lunch. Then you can say this is a good lunch or a bad lunch. So what I find difficult is this invitation where I'm coming to the kitchen and saying, what is Azimio assembling? Okay, I've beaten the tomato a little bit. I've chewed a little bit of the carrot that is supposed to go kwa nyama. I have drunk a little bit of the milk that is supposed to be added. And I'm saying this is not going to be a good meal. Nimelamba roiko. Then you are telling me, Ojwang, tell me, is this going to be a good lunch? Nimeota moto kidogo, nimeona hii moto pia ni mzuri hapa. Ninakasema, hapa kutakuwa na lunch. Let us wait for lunch. But in my view, it's a very weak case.
It's a very weak case. Eric, I don't know if you have any comments comments to make on that submission, Chebunet? And you had made an executive comment on that. But I don't know if you have any.
Yeah,
follow-up comments.
I think Duncan has put it very well. Those commissioners, in fact, I was wondering where they came from, which school they went, because by the time you talk of 0.01, I don't know. I think it's the recurring decimals. It was from one work.
Carry over.
Yeah, you even saw these books of Mr. Kamau. The ones of primary. Yeah, this where somebody is climbing the staircase. The primary school.
They didn't have those teachers who made us cram the multiplication timetable.
Yeah, so
but I wonder who all Jerry is now. What was the name of the guy?
I think if you check those commissioners, I think something must be wrong, because they kept on announcing the results from the time the results came into Bomas.
Wrong
but
results.
They didn't complain. These guys are crazy. How do you complain just because you didn't agree with Chebukati how to allocate the votes to the winner? You know, I think they wanted to agree. Give Ruto this, give Raila this, let's have a runoff. I think that's where there was a point of disagreement. But all through the night, in fact, even this Masit was the last one to read the results.
Including correcting the Kiambu problem was one of them.
Yeah, one of them. He even read Likoni and there were no votes. Until even the media were even questioning her. And she had to come back and read now the Likoni votes properly. So these are people who had been held hostage by the political players. In fact, if you want to know the deep state are the 4 commissioners. These are the people who, as MUMIA have been depending on. They were on assignment to deliver this vote for Raila Odinga. So these 4 have really failed Raila Odinga, because if you check the history of Cherera, you know where he was working, where she was working. She was working in Mombasa under Governor Joe, and even Joe was in Bomas to ensure that he supervises his former employer. So these commissioners are insincere. They don't have any case. In fact, you saw how they were hauled up in Serena. They even wrote a speech for Raila Odinga. If you check, Raila was giving the same speech like like Cherera.
They said it was a citation of the ruling.
Of minor care.
Yes, it was a citation.
Not really, but if you check verbatim, it was exactly that.
No, they used null and void.
Yeah.
Raila used unconstitutional.
Yeah, but
A little bit of creativity here and there.
But I think also if you want to fool Kenyans, you have to be more creative than that.
It's not like they didn't try.
Yeah, this Cherera, I think, as I said earlier, somebody will move to court. And I know a tribunal will be formed very soon. Imagine a situation, Gerald, I told you earlier, where Chebukati and the 3 commissioners have gone home, and the 4 commissioners remain. It will be chaos, because they're still around. So I think that it will bring in a lot of doubts. What if they are messing up with the presidential election? What of the other positions?
And you see, for me, what was interesting, if we have not colluded,
yes,
then I will not know Chebunet is in which side on this issue, which side is Bitok. So I could imagine then one went to going to Serena, another one Galerias. If they had not colluded to know perfectly that we are a team, we are one team. One will have found himself in Rongai saying, members of the 4th estate, here is my press. One will have been in Tribeca or the tribes. How come, at what point did they find that they are a team? And then they left as a team and called a press as a team, and the next day come together as a team. That it is this one issue that all of a sudden, and we are the majority. But I don't think that the Constitution envisioned a situation where after Kenyans have voted,
yes,
then it's saying the vote can only be announced upon
another voting,
upon referendum by majority of the commissioners. Yeah.
Duncan, what I'm wondering, Gerald, is what if they had voted no?
There.
for the
How many commissioners are there?
for the
There are
election?
7 so that they don't tie. But you see, it has to be a commission business. Here, the constitution gives the chair the role of returning officer. And of course, they supported him very well throughout the process by announcing. Some of them are very strong voices, I can confess, because we had them for 4 days. But at the end of the day, they in the crucial time, they failed Kenyans. To be honest, I think they failed Kenyans. They served their own interest, not the interest of the voters. The interest of the voters is in Form 34A, not even C or B. Those certificates are a product of polling stations. And if that certificate is wrong, we just go back to polling stations. That is why 34A is the DNA, is the engine of who become the president. So you cannot shake 34B and 34C to get the correct 34A. And that is why I think the commission is in a very good place when they are saying, no server this time. Media, get to the portal. Bring the Form 34As. They are all here. Can you imagine assembling 44,000, about 600 forms in original, touching every corner of Kenya and telling them, and then coming, the audacity to come and say, now how do we tinker a little bit with this thing so that it become acceptable to the public?
Yeah, and that's why, Gerald, in Bomas, the returning officer was coming with a file of the original.
Yes.
And then there was
the agents are here?
there was an ICT officer from IBC who had the image.
The photo, the image.
The image from the photo.
Not form,
and
the image.
The image. And Azimio did not have anything. In fact, they didn't have even the file for their own agents. But for us, I think we had a whole file and we even had the results. We had even calculated our results using the Form 34As in the portal. There is even one Azimio agent who was wondering when I showed her that these are the results. We have 7.1 and they have 6.9. And he was wondering, we have calculated. We had over 1,000 people in the Asla Center who downloaded the Form 34As. And we had the results. Everyone had the results. If you cared to sit down and download the forms. So I think if you see even the arguments, even right now, nobody is talking about Form 34A.
But you see, that is one way of doing it. The other way that the 4 commissioners are trying is the witch logic.
Yes.
You know, if you are in my village and somebody is saying so-and-so is a witch, there is no evidence. I just feel him tumbaya. No, it's a witch. You cannot. If I was a witch, ningejua anaroga aje. But because me, I'm not a witch, I can only tell he's a witch. The rest, I cannot verify. So, because they are running from science.
Yes.
They are running from logics. Math is logic. So that even if I go and bought something in any shop for 500 and it is 100 and I'm given 100 back as change, I will come to my house and say, hey, enyewe, amebaki na change yangu. We go back to the shopkeeper and say, let's do the math. It does not tally. So if there is verifiable, accountable, simple, accurate.
Yes.
Then you can see verifiable means you can go back and say, let's forget this. Let's go back to the Form 34. Yes, let's do it again. That's why people even recount. Because counting, surely, even when we were having the simple colonial education, we could read and we could count. Forget other things like now citing Shakespeare or appearing like Shakespeare, which you are trying to. No, those are now more complicated.
I take that in part as still saying I'm trying to appear like Shakespeare. All right, moving on. There's a confession here by the Deputy President-elect, Rigathi Gachagua, and he has said that the current President Uhuru Kenyatta, has not spoken to his Deputy William Ruto since his declaration as the President-elect. Meanwhile, he's promising a smooth handover. He has not spoken on the current elections. He met the clergy yesterday. He also met an envoy from America. We'll move to that on another angle. But I would like us to stick to Uhuru Kenyatta. What could be going through his mind regarding Gachagua says he has not even called his deputy, is the president, I'd like to say, pongezi bwana. These things, or maybe say, hi, hello, you're doing well, how do you feel after being declared? Meanwhile, he's promising a smooth handover. The clergy that he met yesterday as well and met William Ruto, I don't know what the convention would be like, including Sapit, that stood at bombers like Ojwang. He said he's being asked, why did you pray? What do you make of that?
I think, Gerald, it is very difficult to be Uhuru Kenyatta right now. After campaigning for your projects for a very long time, even up to the Sunday, even the campaign period was over, he's still bringing together the Kikuyu vernacular stations. He really tried to resuscitate a drowning Raila Odinga. The embarrassment that this president got is huge. I think if you juxtapose with how Mwai Kibaki left politics. I think Mwai Kibaki left in a very honorable way and with a lot of respect and never supported anybody. In fact, Mwai Kibaki went, and may his soul rest in peace, he was one of the gentlemen in Kenyan politics. Uhuru Kenyatta, the most painful thing that Uhuru Kenyatta is going through right now is not because even Raila lost. It's because the Mount Kenya people rejected him. In fact, even in his polling station, Ishaweri, he just got one vote. Raila got one vote. That's the vote that belonged to Raila Odinga. So I think Uhuru Kenyatta is passing through a lot, and I think he's recovering. He's recovering. You saw the way he met the church yesterday. I think he really needs to have a rest. In fact, right now, in State House, I know he's packing, he wants to leave, but he's really feeling a lot of pain. He should not have involved himself in this politics. He should have just quit and go home. But right now, he has really lost a lot. The fellow, in fact, you remember last time Raila Odinga used to have a pay bill to collect money. But after this time, Uhuru Kenyatta was, you remember, was funding. And Raila Odinga used to say, I have one bullet. But I think Uhuru Kenyatta supplied, they supply bullets. So I think he has gotten more.
They say now he has a bazooka. They say he has one bazooka.
But embarrassing the president and involving him in this petty politics, I think that was unfortunate. What Uhuru Kenyatta should have done, I think he should now congratulate William Ruto. If people like US, Australia, and even Russia, it was shocking. They have congratulated the president-elect.
Including Russia.
Yeah, including Russia, imagine, of all the people. Even Ukraine. It is so shocking. So what Uhuru Kenyatta should do, he should just say, now, let me just congratulate the winner. And I believe he will not come to Kasarani because of what we went through. I don't think he will come. Okay. Because of the embarrassment of... it will go in history. The person who failed Raila Odinga is Uhuru Kenyatta. He's the one who failed Raila Odinga. If Raila had gone to look for his votes on his own, he would have even won this election. But now, Uhuru has been the one pushing him. So Raila's efforts got him 6.9. The deep state disappeared, Gerald, during the election, voting day. They were not around. I don't know where they are.
Maybe they were resting a bit. Okay, Joe, what do you make of
that? I think this was a close election. Of course, Raila did well, and Ruto exceeded the expectation. I don't think Uhuru has gone too far. He can rise up again. I'm glad that so far we have the will of the people. You see, democracy is a journey, and it will never be perfect. We keep on improving it. And so long as he has not thwarted the will of the people, what happened with this personal space, I think is important, but there's no legal requirement for him to congratulate Ruto. It will help if he does, but if he does not do it, there's no legal requirement that you should be congratulated legally, because we are following the law. So the law is very clear what happened from what step to another step up to the end. That is not to say it's not important that he actually talks to him. It will help a lot, but it's not...
Especially when you're promising a smooth transition.
It's not a prerequisite. Yeah, you can still transition without talking, because the law envisioned a situation, and so it's a function of the law. Whether you are kicking or screaming, when your time is up, you have to part, and there is a transition committee. That is the committee that probably need to talk to both sides more, and they're already meeting. And then from there, the registrar, I believe, of the Supreme Court, it is a legally initiated and run process. The rest are ceremony. The speeches, I wish you well, my brother, those are just ceremonial aspects. Just like the idea of Chebukati did not show me, those are ceremony. You have people who know how to do ceremony, you have people who don't know how to do ceremony. But as long as you are doing the constitutional benchmark, that is okay. So far, I think God really loved this country, because we are witnessing so far what we can consider as most Kenyans were scared, as a fairly smooth transition. Because what the president does not say or on his phone to the deputy president, he says it through the transition committee. They are there. They have met the deputy president. I don't know, and maybe Boynet could help us the other way, or maybe even the deputy president-elect, because that's a constitutional term. It's not an idle term. Have they tried to do reverse call to the president? So he has not called. How about them? Have they tried call him?
Be flashing.
Because it will be important to know, because either side can call. If I'm your friend, it is fair for me, if I expected your call and you didn't call, to say, Bitok, are you okay? So let us call either side, because either side can call. But all those are good, but not necessary for moral, transition. Yes.
Okay. All right. And as well, Chebune, you mentioned about the US. Actually, the US has remained very strict and restrained in speaking its mind regarding to the just concluded elections. And every other person, the conversation is the Kenyans have seemingly are done with the process of voting. A presidential elect has been announced. Yes, there is a case in court, but we have a presidential elect. The US has remained very restrained in actually congratulating the deputy president, William Ruto, as the president-elect. And they are saying, they're playing safe. There's a case in court. It could turn either way. Even as they are saying that they want us to strengthen democratic space. Is in democracy part of recognizing our processes?
I think so. And I also looked at it the same way, except I realized
let's move on the other side of the mic.
The US were seriously part of this ceremony, even in Bomas. That night they stayed watch. The ambassador, none other than the ambassador, was fighting the mosquitoes to stay watch when they were through the process. So they might be diplomatic. They have been maybe waiting for healing, but they were embedded. Now you are seeing this last part they are doing. It's very bold, because meeting deputy president-elect, the president-elect, is a clear statement. when countries do not recognize you, they don't meet you. I hope I'm making sense. So if I meet you, then it is an act of recognition for whatever your status is. So they have met the president-elect, they have met a former prime minister, and they have met the president. And sometimes, they say walk softly but carry a big stick. Sometimes when I'm carrying a big stick, I become more gracious, but I deliver the message directly. And so look beyond the cameras and the niceties. And you don't know what was said in the closed door meeting. It might be, put your clothes, go call that Ruto and tell him congratulations. But in the camera, we respect the processes. So, because this country, why did the Americans swing to action very fast? Remember, they're the only country which have a delegation now. And the delegation has spent much time, including senators, with the president-elect. If you look at the geopolitics and geo-interest of this region, you can see that the US are finding that UAE, Dubai are taking our ports. Remember the attempt to even give Kisumu ports to some private entities. This region is very important for the Red Sea region, for the Horn of Africa, and for the Indian Ocean. You know the Russia-Ukraine war, that NATO is making its troops, 10 times bigger. So US cannot sleep through the peaceful transition of Kenya. And they have shown interest. Somebody show you interest by the number of people they bring. They have brought a lot of senior people in the US government. They are in the country. Then they are doing shadow diplomacy. So I will not fault them because I think, remember last time they came late when we were already fighting. At this time, they have come and there is ceremony, and I don't think their coming is idle. But at the end of the day, the image I have in my mind when I talk of a superpower like US, in international relations, we talk of realism, that the powerful countries do what they want, the small countries suffer what they must. In the image I have is that of Saddam Hussein being removed from that hole, where he was saying he was a taxi driver. That is how much US is powerful. So, when you are that powerful, you don't throw your weight around. When you remember how they smoked Saddam from that hole. So when they come and meet the president, come on, you are talking to the US. I don't need to be coming screaming. I'm just telling you, Mr. President, do the right thing. And so that assurance that he gave to the country, you don't know how it was procured, but he had to come out and say, I will make sure that there is a peaceful and smooth transition. He did already. Do you know that after Chebukati announced the winner, it was gazetted? Who gazettes? It's the national government. So everything they are doing legally, they have done. I don't care whether you are doing it sulking and saying, lakini you are doing it. Let's follow the law. Thank you.
Okay, I think it will also be good for Uhuru Kenyatta to congratulate Ruto based on what other countries have done. Okay. Tanzania have done, Uganda have done, all these neighbors.
Not Uhuru, US. You're talking about US. You are left to Uhuru already.
But
you're talking about America.
But US is a partner. We have NEPAD. We have all these other. You have even UN.
Because Ojwang is telling us fear.
So
he's telling us Saddam was smoked bin Laden.
I think US cannot do without Kenya. You know what's happening in Somalia right now. Even the British government, they train here, and these are partners of the US. So if US have come and they have recognized the president-elect,
they have not.
And they have even tried
by meeting him. What is better than meeting him? Sending a message or coming personally.
If you are not legitimate, US cannot meet you. Okay. So I think that meeting alone, you even saw the way they were taking photos and very happy, because they know even the US government, they had the results of this election. Yeah, they know.
Counted.
Yeah, they have counted. They have tallied. So they know who has won this election. And Gerald, if you check the Supreme Court ruling of 2017, if you even look for, there's a checklist to show that the commission are satisfied
The
ruling. In fact, it's a checklist. That's why Chebukati is so brilliant. In fact, there's a checklist and they ensure that everything in that list has been followed. So the US government normally talk about the rule of law. There is no speech of a US president that does not have the word the rule of law. And so when they have seen that the rule of law has been followed, they are going to support Kenya.
And you see, just to add on that, interestingly, we have seen this foreign mission and foreign observers saying, I thought I was bringing democracy in Kenya, but I'm taking some lessons home. Wow. This is another standard of how to make election verifiable and accountable. They're just amazed. And they're saying they are benchmarked with Kenya. So I mean...
For the first time.
For the first time, because we are used to things from there to here. But now we are seeing a good election made in Kenya. And they're saying, wow, if we did this with Trump, maybe we will not be where we are. And so I'm a very proud Kenyan because of that. And so they have, most of the observer mission have really given it a clean bill of health. They've said you have not just met our expectation.
Yes.
You have exceeded our expectation. Finally, I think that for that process, which we have just seen, Kenyans have cooperated. Kenyans have voted. Their votes have been counted, have been verified, the results have been given. Both sides so far are not doing so bad because even the former Prime Minister said that I will do whatever I do within law. I think then when you hear law, then you see law is regulating interest much better than saying I will take law into my own hands. And that is why now Kenyans, if you look at my place and everywhere else, are going back to their work. Children are in classes. Why? Because they can tell that surely this process is not as divisive, is not hard. It has happened. It has happened smoothly. It is verifiable. Is it perfect? No. I'll be the first one to say that it's not perfect. And you don't need a perfect election. You need a good election that shows the will of the people. Finally, the Supreme Court standard is not come with anything. Find any mistake, come to court. That is not the Supreme Court standard of 2017. They said beyond reasonable doubt and more likely than not, hapo katikati. That is not a very generous standard. So you can't go with anything. Ati bora nimepata, nimelete kakitu hapa, sindio hii. It must be 50 plus 1, almost the way somebody is convicted that it is wrong. And that is why then people can say you might even have issues, but are they enough to push to that 50 plus 1 standard that this election was not conducted by law, that almost a half or more than half of what these people did was wrong.
In fact, Gerald, in court, during the petition, there are going to be affidavits. And one of the affidavits will be the report from the observers. That's what I wanted to say. Because all the observers, in fact, ILOC has given exactly the same tally, like the one that Chebukati gave.
Media have not come and say I'm finding different numbers.
Some, when they discovered the numbers are the same as the ones of Chebukati, they switched off.
They left the scene.
And they said that there was a virus.
Around 3 questions here. One of them is coming from Ambassador Alfred Sargent from Australia. And he is asking, where is this question? And he is asking, morning, ask the panelist of Masid ran for a seat in 2017. Was she qualified to be a commissioner? What does the law say? She might not be eligible. Let them clarify that. In Mamba Sharia.
Well, wasn't that there was even a case that said she wasn't, that she had already become a commissioner.
was too late.
So we winked. We winked at that illegality, at that unconstitutionality. But because she had run, she had just run, and yes, the law is saying that if you have just run, you are so invested in this process that people cannot see you to be neutral. Maybe you need to stop thinking less like a politician and think like an independent constitutional commissioner. And so, yes, the court found that. But because she had already become a commission, we were towards election, we winked at that, that inadequacy.
Gerald, the problem with standing there at Serena with Cherera is that you are spoiling your brand. In fact, even if the courts will rule otherwise, that brand of Masit, I think she had a bright future, but that standing alone and supporting the fake mathematics and locking themselves in Serena, I think she has spoiled her career. She needs to be to have been very careful and cautious, because when you stand before Kenyans and you say that an election was stolen, you need to prove. So I think she had a bright future, but for now I think that the future has been tainted because of what she has been involved in.
Okay. Yeah. All right. There's another question here, and it's about what the Star has posted in this morning on the headlines, and they're saying that the Uhuru faction of leadership has refused to cede power. They're saying Matiang'i actually tried to block the gazettement of Rigathi and William Ruto as president and deputy president-elect. This is on the Star this morning. Legally, is it possible to refuse to cede power? Kisheria, are there any instruments that you can use to refuse to cede power?
Not legal, isn't it? So then...
because this is a legal process. Like
and you see, these are constitutionally triggered. You see, the constitution that we have in 2010 came to bring what we call political hygiene to this country. Okay. 2007, we did not have a peaceful transition. Remember the announcement of results at night, the swearing in there and then. So, having learnt about that, and where do most Africa countries fail? Transition of power. Isn't it? Where do most African countries break to war? Transition of power. So this constitution, being forward-looking and looking at our history, where there was no magic of the peaceful transition, envision into details how we can transition peacefully and who does what, so that it's not left at the whims of an individual. It is detailed and it is in law. So the handing of a power is assuming you have power beyond the date that the Constitution says you have it. You have nothing to hand over. In fact, that is why by the time the president-elect have been declared, after 7 days or after the Supreme Court petition, if it fails and we don't go back to election, this is a legally timed process. Then you have no power to hand. So don't mind about I will not hand it. You don't have it. You don't have it.
You can't hand about you don't have it.
Yes, because the Constitution is the one that gave you power. The Constitution have taken it away and the Constitution give the power. Because, remember, who is the sovereign?
The people.
It's not the president. And so the sovereign have given the power through election, and that triggers some action. So people are still locked in probably the Machiavellian reading. The book by Machiavelli, it's called The Prince. That was pre the 2010 Constitution. So, power is not something portable like ndio hii imeletwa, ndio hii amebeba, ina ni nzito hii power. Ebu nipe nisikule. Hii power ni nzito bwana. So people have very interesting ideas of what power is. Power is the Constitution and it has given it to the person
the people
elected.
It's a software.
It's not physical. Ndio hii ameileta.
When time comes, you just hand over. Even if you don't attend the the inauguration, you will have to hand over.
Ojwang is saying there's nothing to hand over.
You remember Trump did not turn up in the handing over, but now Biden is the president. So power is in the constitution. Power is in the people, as Ojwang has put it. So there's nothing you can do. In fact, you saw even when Moi was leaving, people were crying in State House. I think you saw Sally Koske crying and the others. So there will be a lot of tears for people who don't want to believe that power is transient. Power, you will have to hand over. Whichever president wins, whoever wins, the constitution has clear timelines. In fact, you will see the armed forces just moving to State House and having the next president inspect a guard of honor, and then after Kasarani. So I think there's nothing you can do, and that's why the assumption of office committee is non-partisan.
Is the word to watch now.
They don't want to know who will be the president. It is a committee that is in law, and they are going to organize for anyone. Even the counties are, I'm told, they're swearing in of the governors next week.
Yes.
It is something in law. It doesn't matter who becomes the governor. So I think the beauty with our country is that there is a constitution. It is not the law of the jungle, where
you decide you wake up in the morning.
It is survival for the fittest. No, this country is anchored in law, and the 2010 constitution. It is a very strong constitution. You saw even BBI could not do anything about it. So there's nothing who can do anything to this constitution. Kenya has the most progressive constitution. In fact, if you want to amend this constitution, I don't think it will be amended very soon, Duncan.
It's difficult. Right, last question, and that is coming in from Brandon R on YouTube. And you might have skipped the issue on the discrepancy between Kim's kit and the actual vote on the case of...
You know, right now, most of the things, because I've had that question, I've seen it well answered by the commission. But again, we are back to inviting me to the kitchen, putting the shopping on the table, and saying, since umesema unataka chai, check whether this tea will be good, and you give me one spoon of sugar, kahawa kidogo ndio hii onja, ebu kunywa maji, unaonaje hii chai. Let them cook. Then now we can talk about a petition that has been made.
Thank you very much. I think what is happening is that right now, you see, Kenyans are they've really moved on the way we have said, and people are focused. Right now, people are preparing even to do farming. I saw one of my friends, one of the journalists doing some farming. Alex Chamwada, you saw him, eh?
Yes.
He was doing some farming in the village in Kakamega. So I think Kenyans have moved on. What we need is we just respect the institutions that are there. And follow the law. Let's wait for the 7 days. The only thing is that people will be anxious, waiting for the Supreme Court case to end. I think it has given us another assignment for analysis. Duncan.
I mean, we still have a longer lifeline. We thought we were going to close business.
Yeah, we thought. I thought Gerald will come back home. But now he'll be here to analyze now what are the possibilities of this case succeeding or not succeeding. So I think we have an assignment. They have given us more work and employed us to be in Nairobi. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for me, I think at the end of the day, the politicians will be okay. But will Kenya be okay?
Yeah.
And it is about Kenyans.
I'm literally seeing them already. They're already converging. They're having tea. They're having a laughter.
With very nice cups.
Imagine.
I saw that. I've never seen those beautiful cups. The cups the diplomats were using.
And even today, Gerald, you know, some members of Jubilee are moving to Kenya Kwanza today. In fact, as we are talking now, I think they have arrived in Karen.
And that question, I think, as we're winding up, the question is, gentlemen, even as Azimio is planning to go to court, yesterday we saw members members of the Azimio, the party's UDM has swinged in with all the members we're seeing as individual MPs as well. We've been elected on an independent ticket, and other members of smaller parties. And also understand that Kalonzo Musyoka is negotiating. Even as Azimio goes to court, I don't know, the wisdom of water forecasting. You know, sometimes you unasema ijua ni mvua. You know, do they stand? Is there a chance? Because it looks like will William Ruto manage to paralyze Azimio in terms of pulling out the numbers and the membership of Azimio? Really?
Like Kalonzo, he was to become the speaker.
Where?
Oh, for Azimio. In Azimio, yes, he was the candidate.
Yeah,
but it evaporated yesterday. When UDM defected, the 7 members, and now today Jubilee members are defecting without even informing Uhuru Kenyatta. So I think Ruto is now consolidating the numbers in the house. Even to pass these bottom-up laws, you need numbers. Yeah, to actualize the manifesto, you need numbers. So I think if this Azimio will be very weak in the House, because right now in the Senate, Ruto has the majority, and then in the National Assembly, even in the yesterday, 35 MCS of UDM defected to Kenya Kwanza. So it will be very difficult.
For me, you know, it looks like UDA and Kenya Kwanza is getting ready and have started governance. Because that is, to me, where my life starts changing.
Where?
At governance, isn't it? When now government come to provide services and government work for me. So that is the next stage, very important stage. And at the end of the day, you know, I think Kenyans need to be magnanimous to understand that the Azimio side was very strong, but the other side won. And it's not so much about 6 million versus 7 million. That's a false narrative. These are all Kenyans. They went into this exercise to pick one. If there was opportunity for 2, they will have done the same. And now it is time for Kenyans to also talk about what is in it for me. Let us be selfish as wananchi, as the mama mboga. If you are promised new knives to cut mboga, start saying, "Mi sitaki mambo mingi. Bring my knife because I'm ready to move on with my life." And they are. And that's why I think politicians will be okay, whether they go to Supreme Court, whether whatever. But Kenyans will not be okay. And for me, I've become very patient because I saw Corona, which you acquire by breathing, and you can't stop breathing. And we saw body bags. But somehow we are here. And therefore, you know, if I've survived that, you have read the book of Okwonko where he was saying anybody, even with a heart of lion, will have given up in despair. And every time he see another tough time, he say, if I survived that, then what is transition? So I think we are at a hopeful stage. We are the survivors, and we must move on as a country. We have no choice. Thank you.
I think, Gerald, what I can say is I'm happy with the new environment. You saw when William Ruto was declared, and even his speeches in Karen, they have become presidential. In fact, he no longer throws the hands the way he used to throw the hands. And I think the way he promised us that even right now, I don't fear those DCI and NIS and so forth, because he said even these WhatsApp calls and even Signal, they'll no longer be there. I've become so free nowadays because of the new environment. But in the past, you used to fear. If you would say something even here and elsewhere, you would be arrested. So I think William Ruto is bringing some hope. And even I know the fuel prices, all these food prices are going to come down. The first day in office, I know he's going to do a lot for Kenyans. Even to prove that he needs to be elected in the next 5 years, he has to do something. In fact, the more the more mandate you're given, the more responsibility you will have.
All right.
Yes.
6 minutes past 9:30. There are two things I don't want us to leave out. One is a question from Morina on TD. It says, is it legal when elected members switch alliances immediately after elections? Gerard Bitok asks for me, what fate awaits them again? The president-elect was very clear that opposition must play its role. How is that possible when he is receiving their members to dismantle the same opposition? Ojwang.
The defections.
Yes.
Of course, you know, the right to form a party, to join a party, to join a movement is an individual right. It's not a group right. So if you find somebody who is saying, I was being intimidated being in Azimio, and now that the danger and the fear, finally, you know, I was a coward. Yeah. I couldn't.
And those intimidating have lost power.
I've lost. Mimi sina nguvu. But now I can tell you my real mind. We see that a lot.
Finally.
So the individual, I think even that having opposition must be within the context that people can defect even for no good reason. Just because they want to, because it's their individual right. And you cannot stop that. But yes, the whole idea and the spirit of let opposition live so that we get meaningful check and balance. But even beyond the politician giving check and balance, the viewer, me and you, should offer check and balance. And for us, it will be about the UDA manifesto. If people were promised wheelbarrow,
we want them
go
to
for your wheelbarrow. So yes. So when it comes to governance, it must be that there is check and balance. People must be, this country must develop. This country must get employment. Cost of living is unbearable. People must eat. Surely there is no other two-way about it. People must eat. Forget that joke. Do you eat to live or you live to eat? At the end of the day, whichever answer you get, I must have food on the table. So, as he said, serious things that there is no time for sideshow. There's no time for revenge. There's no time for even I believe that even people who probably worked for him have not even been told thank you or congratulations because there is Kenyans to save and serve. Thank you.
Okay. Chebune.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Does it not affect then his statement that he wants to let the opposition live?
I think it also shows, Gerald, that these people were in Azimio physically, but their spirit was elsewhere. I think because of the coercion, the deep state, the state machinery, and so forth, they had been intimidated. So when the people who are intimidating them lost power, you now move to the other side because you no longer. And that's why I told you there is an environment of less fear now because people are feeling that we had suffered for so long. They were like in a cage. Now they have broken out. And if they are seeing that William Ruto will make the lives of Kenyans better, that's why they are following William Ruto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, gentlemen, there's something that their politicians are playing ping pong with. You know, they're throwing it to this side, throwing it to this side, issuing statements. And that's the death of Wanaro from Embakasi, who died in the course of duty. And the politicians have embarked on a blame game. Not speaking about the justice to the family and as well to the gentleman who was being murdered. Some investigation have somehow revealed the movements of the gentleman. They are saying he didn't look like he was being hunted down. You know, he's good. But one thing, he had his main line off. But he looked good. The CCTV footage saw him walking to a stage talking about a guy. I mean, he looked cool. Didn't have any issues. And the calls looked like maybe he was making it on WhatsApp or something like that. WhatsApp you guys just mentioned. And there was no sense of alarm on his end. I don't know, but why is it that every time during an electoral cycle, that's a life that has been lost. We are not focusing on this life and trying to find justice for this person. It becomes a political competition. What do you make about the death of this gentleman?
It's tragic. It's very sad that a Kenyan's life is lost in the name of election. Of course, that surely was by somebody who wanted to induce, illegally get to office. Again, that is where I bemoan the weakness or weakening of our institution. That's where the issue of state capture comes in. Because we don't want more press, even from, of course, the candidate, let them talk, they're politicians. But msema ukweli, we should have DCI.
Issue a statement on this.
Not a statement. Statement, somebody has died. We don't want statement. We want investigation closed. We want to know who killed Msando. The grave is still fresh. I still remember what Hamam said. Uliba nini, even if it was so much money, why couldn't they come to me so that I pay for you, my son? That is intolerable. This one is intolerable. I was seeing how the mother cries. This is intolerable. I'm remembering people like Baby Pendo, that is not in his father's lap or arms, but in the grave because of election. This must stop. We must have this transition right. The inquiry and our institution must work to protect Kenyans so that Kenyans, the institution should not be about protecting the regime, but Kenyans. But this is one too many. It is sad. It's heartbreaking. I was seeing the process. We don't want pressure. We want convictions. You tell us who is killing our people. Thank you.
If you check even the way this man was killed, the autopsy shows that it was an expert. In fact, if you check, I was reading in the papers, it was not normal, the way he was killed. And I was not seeing any reason for killing Musyoka, because already the results were in the national portal for Embakasi East. So nobody would have even stolen that election. So I think it is sad that we have to lose a Kenyan in every election, and we have to sacrifice a Kenyan. The family, of course, will suffer for some time. And you will hear the normal stories. Police are investigating.
No stones
we shall leave. I don't know where are these stones, Gerald, because they normally say we shall leave no stone unturned. I have not seen any stone. The stones are still standing. So you remember the story of Otieno Kajwang, Mutula Gilonso. The stones. The police are still investigating all these people who have died mysteriously. I think going forward, our investigative authority should be serious. Look at the way they did the Venezuelan. They pursued they should pursue thieves the way they pursued those Venezuelans, and alleged rigging. They were so vigorous, arresting people. Look at the way they handled Miguna. I think they should be handling people and using the same energy that they used to handle Miguna and deporting him. They should now convert that energy and arrest people who are killing Kenyans. So we would like to say pole to that family, and we believe that God will be with that family. And this country going forward, this competition during elections should not go that far. People should just lose an election and go home, look for other jobs to do, instead of polarizing the country, killing people. Yeah.
Thank you, John, for coming. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for the shackles who have been on YouTube and on Facebook as well. It's always a pleasure to have you. I appreciate your comments. Poleni kidogo. Today we could not have Bunge la Mwananchi. Oh, you also
we are also Wananchi, so somewhere we had it.
Wananchi wakubwa.
We didn't come from heaven.
All right, so things as we had never seen what remind you that bado tunauza maburoti. Wale often when we give you an opportunity to acquire the properties at very cheap rates and at flexible payment terms. Unaweza lipia pole pole. We have properties in Nanyuki. We're giving you at only 349,000. Unapata property yako pale the Great Oasis, and you can play mdogo mdogo, even beginning with 10,000. Unaweza ka deposit alafu nalipia pole pole for 12 months. Also giving you the Malindi Breeze. We are getting into phase 3 of the Malindi Breeze. Coming into Kitengela as well, we still have the Victory Gardens, the Happy Gardens. Going to Machakos as well, we still have properties coming to you. Kajiado Love Gardens is there for you. You can pay mdogo mdogo. Please call the number on your screens and you can book your plot today. 0790-300-300. Useme nimekutuma, unapewa discount na flexible payment terms rahisi zaidi. I still want also to remind you that if you want to do what we are doing here every single morning, you've seen what the tackle has been able to do for this time. If you have an amazing idea that keeps bothering you in terms of you have content that you want to spin to the public, you want the public to consume your content, whether it's in football, kama ni mambo ya professional, kama ni udaktari, kama hii, we're giving you an opportunity to experience our studio for a month for free. Come here, do your content, we'll do the podcast content for you, kama ni video pole tunakufanyia. Alafu kwa mwezi mmoja you can be able to learn much more under the tutelage of me, myself, the father of all podcast. I can show you what needs to be done where and give you an experience. So you can call in the number on your screens that you can see on the poster. Alafu unaweza kupata nafasi yako ya kuweza kucheza na content pia. I believe that every other dream should have a chance. So if you have a dream to do content, if you have a dream to be a content creator, if you have ideas that you think should see the light of the day, then you have an opportunity to get free access to equipment for a month. Alafu tunaweza kujua kama content yako inaweza ama haiwezi. Kwa hivyo piga nambari kwenye simu ambayo kwenye screen yako 0777 767-115 or 777-767-115 ama utembelee ofisi zetu 9 Planets Apartments, Cabinet Gardens S2. Pata jamaa anaitwa Steve hapo, mpige story kidogo, umwambie kuna idea gani, unataka kuongea Kiluya, unataka kuongea Kijaluo, unataka kuongea Kale ama unataka kuongea English, you want to be Shakespearean and you get an opportunity to experience our equipment free of charge for a month, and after that basi you get to decide what you want to do with your life until tomorrow. Kumbe hatuna kesho. But anyway, wala watu ambao wananifuata also on other platforms, see you on Radio Jambo tomorrow, Radio Jambo from 10 a.m. to midday, Radio Jambo 10 a.m. to midday, mazungumzo waziwazi, and also we're also on the vernacular. See you on Kass FM from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. A good 2 hours of stories, and also looking, and I think what is key, and maybe Ojwang, you guys should make your way there, especially on the legal issues surrounding the elections. You can speak some Kiswahili, you can come there. We try and talk to these people. So, that's what following. It's on Radio Jambo, 10 a.m. to midday, and Kass FM, Kapkirwak, from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Until then, this is the tackle, and it ends now. Bye-bye, and take care.